Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we're delighted that you've welcomed us into your home. You know, we would love to hear from you, so send us an email with your question or your comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Today, we have a beautiful woman on our show. Her name is Sarah Reiter. She is an instructor for the Marquette Fertility Education. You could go to the website. It's you, me, and NFP.com. That sounds easy, right? You, me, and NFP.com. And it's going to be extremely informative. She's going to tell us a little bit about her journey and all that, the ways that God is using her to advance the culture of life and the education of fertility education.
Amen. Well, thinking about this whole area of the transmission of human life, because that's what NFP, comes under. We're thinking about life, and this January we're coming into that time where there are various, West Coast Walk for Life, One Life LA, and of course the Great March for Life in Washington D.C. And so we should all be gearing up for that, to attend these events. And you need to know that there are many local events throughout the country.
Like 80 marches, right?
80 marches. We have our march this Saturday in Birmingham. We have a Respect Life Mass at 9 a.m. at the Cathedral of St. Paul. And then at 10:45, we have a rally and a March for Life in the city of Birmingham beginning at 10:45. If you went to marchforlife.org, marchforlife.org, you'd learn about the March for Life in D.C. But also, if you just scroll down, it says local marches. Just click that, and you'll find over 80 marches, state by state, city by city. You can click on their website so that you can actually go individually or as a family, as a church, because we need to stand in solidarity together to be the face of the faceless and the voice of the voiceless. And there's nothing like doing that in your own city, that you would be a watchman on the wall, that you would be saying, if abortion is going to take place in our city, we're going to let everybody know about it. And we're going to call it out, that we might repent and believe the Holy Gospel, and maybe your city will become an abortion-free city.
Well, and it's so important to know that, because in states, it seems like we're winning more battles, right? And more abortion clinics are closing in the states from coast to coast. Now, where they're running wild and rampant is in the East Coast and in the West Coast.
Praying for you.
And so that's why we have the big March for Life in Washington, D.C., especially to make known to all of our senators and congressmen and to the Supreme Court and to the president and to the beautiful witness to our country that we are pro-life. And usually 500,000 people show up there, right? And so, but you never hear about it on the local media, but you will hear coverage of it right here on EWTN.
Will be covering everything, everywhere, so you can be assured of that. Just go to EWTN.com. And also remember, for all of us, but especially you that are very active in the pro-life movement, EWTN has EWTN.com/pro-life. I've been going there recently. There's all pro-life resources there. So if you're part of a parish pro-life group, whatever it might be, it's updated all the time. Everything is there for you. And again, go to marchforlife.org and find out the nearest pro-life march in your very city, your very community. Also get ready for the National Day of Prayer for Human Life. That's on the 22nd, I believe it is. So that's a day where the Catholic Church celebrates that. What are you going to be doing on that day? If you can't make these things personally, pray, give towards the work of life. All together, we will build a new culture of life. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and today we bring to you an instructor. Her name is Sarah Reiter. She is an instructor for Marquette Fertility Education. You could go to her website, which is marquettefertilityed.com. Well, Sarah, we want to welcome you to At Home with Jim and Joy.
Thank you.
And we're delighted that you're here. We want you to tell our family a little bit about yourself, your family background, where you came from, and who you are.
Okay, well, I am the youngest of 5 children. I was cradle Catholic, so I grew up in a Catholic home, and that meant a lot to me. We went to weekly mass and everything, and that was basically it. We did get involved in PSR. My mom taught that, and so she kind of gave me a respect and an awe for the faith by her example, and my dad as well. And one of the things that I always felt neat about the church was the beauty of the church, the smells of the incense, the priests and the nuns and how they dress. There was just an awe about that I always thought was amazing about being in the Catholic faith. Then I grew up and I went to college and majored in nursing. And so when I got out, I actually worked in orthopedics, which is something I said I would never do. When I was in college, I don't think I liked that. So I worked orthopedics for a while. I married my husband, Jeff. We have 4 children. And as I stayed at home as a stay-at-home mom, I ended up, leaving nursing. And then so I could go on as a story of how I got into Marquette. And that's another thing I wasn't planning on doing. And God somehow worked my way over to that.
Share with us, where does the natural family planning interest come in? What's the origins of that for you? Who was the inspiration for you in that, or what led you to it? Was it a person? Was it a crisis? Was it, what is it? And just share with us again, NFP, what is NFP?
Okay. All right. So for my journey to get into NFP, it took several different steps to prepare myself to even say yes to NFP. So initially, when I first really heard about it, I never heard about it as a child really, I had to go to the introductory class in order to get married in the church. And I always thought, well, I would never use hormonal contraception. That was never an option for me. And then I learned about NFP and I said, well, that makes sense. It's in line with the church. I'll do it. So that was my introduction to NFP. Holistically using NFP, that took time as well to learn and grow in my faith. So the other thing that encouraged me to be a teacher is a new journey. So that...
When you say holistically understanding NFP, is that what you said?
Right.
Explain what that means, that there's more to it than just an agreement with you at that point. Well, I don't like chemicals anyway.
Right.
And therefore this makes sense to me and it's the teaching of the church. But I hear you saying, in a way, there's more components than this is just a healthy thing and it agrees with where I am.
Right.
There are numerous dimensions to natural family planning that really fit into Humanae Vitae,
right,
and the total gift of self and so on. I'm guessing that's a part of what you mean by it's more holistic than just that. Share more with us, because I think it's really important for our viewers. And we really are all on a journey in so many ways of understanding. Sometimes we do the right thing and we don't have all the reasons. And we learn later, oh gosh, there's so many dimensions, so much beauty to this, so much truth to this.
Right.
And I think that's a part of what you're saying. I think it's important.
Right. Well, so NFP is basically looking for biological markers and understanding your cycle and your fertility. So when you use it in your marriage to achieve and avoid a pregnancy, you basically understand your body and you appreciate the beauty of it and you work with it. So instead of contraception, every day and every month you have to decide, well, do we want to have a baby or not? And so then you have to come together, talk about it, and there's times of abstinence. So that time, it really allows couples to sacrifice, and it's kind of difficult to promote because you need to sacrifice, but that is one of the neatest, best things you can do in your marriage, and it actually makes you happier. And statistics, they're saying that there's a very low divorce rate with people who use NFP because you have to sacrifice for each other, you have to communicate, and you don't use barriers and things like that. So as being a teacher, I try to remember, I've come a long way. Theology of the body is one of the things, if you don't know about it, it's very good to look into the audience, because that
series of teachings by Pope John Paul II, now saint, when he first became Pope, gave these beautiful lectures on the theology of the human body and what the body is speaking. Right.
So it's amazing, like the people who have experienced theology of the body, the beauty and the dignity of sex and marriage, then they tend to welcome NFP more. So when I learned NFP, I wasn't introduced to that yet. So I didn't, you know, at that point, I didn't have a holistic view of it. So as I had children and I stumbled upon theology of the body and went to a seminar, I thought, that's it. So that opened me up to being able to teach it when I was asked.
I want to pause, because I know in my own life and in working with people in this area that the holistic aspect, more dimensions, will be so important, just like it was to you, for them to connect with us and to understand. So you were actually using NFP, but weren't really aware or didn't embrace some of these other dimensions that really showed something beautiful, holistic, really gave definition to the why.
Right.
Why.
Right.
What are some of those key things for you and that people would need to hear out there to say, well, you know, this just isn't another way to plan pregnancies or not to be pregnant. This is big. This is large. This is about sacrifice. This is about an emulation of Christ himself. This is about, you know, those dimensions to that. Because I think once people get that, that's the theology of the body. What was it about theology of the body? What particular dimensions?
Faithful, fruitful. You know, it's you giving yourself completely to your spouse, and you hold nothing back. So people do that. You know, they say, well, what's the difference between that and contraception? Because you're still avoiding, you want to avoid. Well, there's reasons to avoid a pregnancy that is reasonable. Your health, you're spacing children. You know, there's different reasons, and so when you it's hard to sometimes put into words right now.
Yeah. I think holistic is one of the greatest words, you know, because it really is about, you know, true intimacy. And as you said earlier, sacrifice versus selfishness. And I guess some people, we don't even know we're being selfish, but when we're not thinking in that holistic kind of way, it's all about this experience and the pleasure in it. And we're not anti-pleasure, because it's got to be about pleasure.
All right.
But it's kind of like babies don't fit into it. Fertility doesn't fit into it, except to avoid it. Like I want to avoid it. And you're saying, no, in natural family planning and in our understanding of this whole thing, fertility is really at the center of it. It doesn't mean that you have to get pregnant with every engagement that's taking place, but you always need to be thinking about the whole gift of self, babies and bonding, and all these things that, who's talking about these things, unless they come to hear you or really read theology of the body. And when we do, it really is, we were sharing in earlier shows, it really is an epiphany. Things go off. You know, I've not looked at it this way. This is really beautiful, as well as healthy, as well as whatever, as well as that it works, you know, 98% of the time. There's something more here about me being a human being and you being a human being, I mean, the marital couple, and how we treat one another, that we're always thinking about what's best for a child. What's the best time to have a child, right? That's part of the conversation. So it's all about the child. It's not negating children, but it's about what's best for us, and we're discerning this together. And that's why, you know, as you're alluding to, it seems like there are fewer divorces.
Right.
Because we're really talking, we're sharing, we're respecting. And it isn't just my need, my pleasure, or whatever, it's more.
Well, there's great honor and there's great respect. And it's not seeing my wife or my husband as a sexual object. It's honoring and loving and adoring the whole person. And like you said, so you said, well, I decided I wanted to do this. Well, probably not. You and your husband decided, right? Because it's all about the couple. Because you both have to be on the same page. Right. Because, like you said, there is sacrifice. There is our love according to God. Yeah. Well, people aren't there, you know? And so it's really an awakening that has to happen.
And people say, you know, you're anti-pleasure.
Well, our marriage got better. Our marriage got better, when you get to the point where you communicate that. And it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity in your marriage, and it builds marriage muscle. Because a lot of times when you're in marriage, there's hard times. And so this really trains you and builds you up to even sacrifice outside of those issues. It also prepares you for fidelity in marriage. Right. And it's just, a very positive thing. And so I think it's not spoken about enough. So if it's not spoken about it enough, then when you mention it here and there, it's not like the culture, which is kind of louder than the church. So when you come across speaking about it, it needs to be spoken about more and more often. And that's why, like that website that was up, You, Me, and NFP, that is a new website that a friend of mine started up. And
You, Me, and NFP.
You, Me, and NFP. And what it does is it really talks about the beauty of it. It gives support. There's blogs, there's videos, all kinds of things that people can go to, and also learn NFP as well online. So
it's
lots
really a
of
community.
opportunities.
It is.
Yeah. It's nothing like having people that are learning or all in on this, questions and answers, because really this has become so countercultural, unfortunately, even within the church. From what we read in statistics and so on, and that isn't a condemnation. I think a lot of it is just not understanding and ignorance. But so this particular website, you've got people there, you can have dialogue with them, the various forms of NFP. You've got a teaching I saw as soon as you go there on Humanae Vitae and 50 years ago. What is that? What is it saying? Radical document that so beautifully speaks about the transmission of human beings.
Right.
What's right, what's wrong in the ways that we're seeking to transmit life or stop life. You know, what's listed just regarding the natural law and the teaching of the church, and to engage in a conversation about this. And I bet the more we can engage in the conversations, the more we'll win. But we're not even engaged in the conversations. And people don't know where to place their hat on the rack, you know, they just see it every once in a while. Right. But that website and your teachings are giving it a place for people to come home and have that conversation.
And I'm excited about, you know, I kind of fell into being a teacher.
Okay.
And so that wasn't something, you know, when I went to the NFP class, I thought, this is good, but I'm not going to teach that. I'm not going to step up there and talk about that. So, but after learning, just growing and maturing and learning about theology of the body, Humanae Vitae, I said, yeah, I can take on this job and teach it. So, but it's the Marquette Fertility Education.
Okay.
And
what makes that unique among the various ways of doing NFP?
NFP is basically monitoring your biological markers. So you understand your fertility in your cycles, and so you learn when you're fertile, when you're not, based on your biological markers. Right. So NFP teaches things, you know, Marquette and NFP teaches things like mucus observations, cervical mucus observations, because you can tell by how that looks, how it feels, on when your fertility is coming and when it stops. Okay, so we teach that. Also, there is temperature, which you can do, which confirms ovulation has happened. But one of the unique things about Marquette education is that we use a clear blue fertility monitor.
Clear blue fertility monitor, okay.
Yes, and it measures urinary hormones of estrogen and luteinizing hormone. So estrogen rises, and right as your mucus is starting to get more fertile. And so that gives you an objective marker for some people who would like to use a monitor. Some are okay with just using mucus, some use, you know, it's basically tailored to what the couple wants.
What is the expense of a monitor?
The monitor you can order like on Amazon, and kind of the prices can fluctuate, like $150 around, but you buy that once, and then there's sticks that are around $30 that would last you for about 3 months. So you can check out, kind of see the prices online, and that's something that like flexible spending accounts and things like that could possibly pay for. And so if clients, you know, or couples or women want to use that, that can like affirm the other biological markers, or you can even use it on your own. And there's an algorithm that you follow to determine those days of fertility.
Now, when a couple, like you or an engaged couple, and someone makes a presentation of the Marquette Fertility, do they encourage you to then be a student of that? And so that you're learning your body, learning, understanding everything about yourself even before you get married? I mean, isn't that best where you could kind of do it beforehand, so you kind of have a little bit of a heads up as to how your body is working?
Right.
And you'd be a student of your own body.
Right. What I do is I teach engaged couples usually in our parish. And so they come in and we teach them. We do an hour long about introductory class. And it's something that is necessary to get married in the church, just so that you're exposed to it. So some people are going in there and they're aware of things like theology of the body. They know what they're getting into. A lot of them have never heard of NFP before, so they come and they sit there and they learn, and I think they're amazed by what they learn. And I don't know, a lot of them don't sign up, some of them do, but they think, well, they might want to learn it online, or they still got to think about it because it's overwhelming. Because a lot of people are contracepting, or you know, and the thought of, I come across and I say, you know, this is NFP. And one of the things that helps you to learn NFP is to abstain. Yeah.
Sarah, we're going to pause at this point just because of time constraints. We're going to have you back on. Well, we're going to continue this after the break, as a matter of fact. We usually have a priest after this, but we're going to keep you on. It's MarquetteFertilityEd.com. All the information you need is there, MarquetteE, fertilityed.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come.
Welcome back. Well, we're visiting today with Sarah Reiter, but before we continue our discussion with Sarah, we're going to hear from Catherine Hadro, who is the host of EWTN Pro-Life Weekly. Catherine, we hear that you have an interview with one of the speakers at the upcoming March for Life.
Hi, Jim and Joy. Yes, we do. We'll talk to the president of Princeton Pro-Life, who is speaking at the March for Life and holding the March for Life banner. The theme for the march this year is Pro-Life is Pro-Science. So this biological engineering major will tell us why she knows pro-life is pro-science. We also have a discussion about the upcoming 9 Days for Life campaign, a national novena for the unborn, so you can learn how to pray for the pro-life movement. And as we do each and every week, we will share our pro-life call to action. It's a way for you to help advance the pro-life movement and to get involved yourself. To find out this week's call to action, simply go to ProLifeWeekly.com. Again, that's ProLifeWeekly.com. You can catch all of this and more on EWTN Pro-Life Weekly at 10 p.m. this Thursday, and again on Sunday at 10 a.m. I hope to see you all there, but for now, back to you at home.
Catherine, thanks so much. And one of the things Catherine shared is that pro-life is pro-science, and I just thought immediately, especially with the Marquette Method,
yes.
That really seems to relate to that.
It's very pro-science. It's very highly studied for its effectiveness up at Marquette University, and a lot of people are doing studies on its effectiveness ranging from different situations. Women who are in perimenopause, women who are breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is a very challenging time to determine your fertility at times. And so they've done studies on that, and using the monitor with their readings is very effective, and it can also decrease days of abstinence sometimes for those women. It can be helpful to some women.
There's a number of dimensions, and they're all really good. They'll find this information on your website, and you say that people from the Marquette Method, like yourself, would continue with these people that make this decision to be able to talk this through, because sometimes it's like, well, what am I doing now? What's happening here? And I learned this then, but now I feel alone.
So what we do is we do that introductory class, and we explain the method. And one of the things we say is that, you know, I'm going to teach you a lot tonight, but you really need to be with a qualified instructor, so they can either take the class with me. There's 2 follow-up classes and as many as they need for a year to truly understand the method. And so what they do is they chart, and then they come back, and so we go in more detail of the method, and then we go over their charting and to make sure they understand everything. Because a lot of times with NFP, it's like riding a bike. You can't just learn about it in an hour and then go out and do it. And I said, you know, if they want to go learn it themselves, they can, but they should probably expect a baby sooner than later if they don't learn the method. And one of the things with NFP is it is a very effective method. NFP is very effective. I mean, 98 to 99% effective when taught and used correctly. But one of the things is motivation. So if people are highly motivated to avoid, then it's way more effective. And that's, you know, with NFP users, I think it's different because a lot of people are open to life and are more, you know, they don't necessarily follow the method as closely as they need to unless they really have a need to avoid. Right. So you can tailor it to what you need. And the most important thing is fertility education and understanding your body. So it's a health tool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't always have to use it to achieve or avoid. You just know your body. And also on our website, we also go over male fertility because the health of a man is important in the overall health of the couple's fertility.
Sarah, thank you so much for unpacking so much. We're going to continue the conversation on Friday with Sarah. It's Marquette Fertility Ed.com. One of the key things I take from Sarah's sharing is that fertility is a beautiful thing. In America here today, in our culture, society, fertility is like the enemy, like a disease. God help us. Fertility is a beautiful thing. Keep it on EWTN. All together we will build a new culture of life. Bye now.